Wasted Water Sports, ahoy! How's everybody doing? Nice to see you again. I've gone and taken some time off again, haven't I? Well, you see, there is a reason for that. Let's go ahead and just blame Michelle. It's not entirely Michelle's fault, of course. Well, actually, it's not any Michelle's fault, to be totally fair. No, obviously, look, we weren't here last weekend. Saturday night was Michelle's birthday party, and let's just say things got a little bit too loose, which pretty much wrote the entirety of Sunday off for me. And I'm the Wasted Water Sports. I'm the Intoxigamer. So you can only imagine how loose things had to have gotten for me, of all people, to be written off the next day. But that is neither here nor there, and that's stories that perhaps happen another time, but certainly not. No, certainly not here tonight. Welcome along, everybody. Anyways, Friday night footy. Wasted Water Sports ready to bring you the action. Hopefully, it's a decent game. The St. George Dragons, who are hurtling towards the wooden spoon, let's face it, they weren't honestly my pick. They were in the talks, but they weren't my pick for the wooden spoon at the start of the season. They would have been there or thereabouts. And Ricky's Green Goblins, as much as I hate to say it, and once again, the only reason that I hate to say it is because I can't stand that goddamn Viking clap. Oh, thankfully they're playing away tonight, so we don't have to endure it. I'll drink to that. Yes, the Raiders are the away team, but those cheeky sons of bitches, Ricky's Green Goblins, they may just be my dark horse pick to really threaten for the premiership. It pains me to say it almost as much as it pained me to put myself in a Raiders jersey on the thumbnail for tonight's stream. But what else was I going to do? I can't go for the Dragons, can I? Who could possibly go for the Dragons at this point in time? Nobody. Nobody of sound mind, anyway. So it just couldn't happen. Anyways, welcome along. Nice to have you all here. Big weekend of streams coming up. Well, a big week, I suppose. Not just this weekend. Big weekend of streams. Okay. I don't know if anybody else picked up on this, but I certainly did. I said big weekend of streams coming up, then immediately corrected myself and said, well, a big week, I suppose. And then having said that, immediately then proceeded to say, once more, big weekend of streams coming up. Bugger it. What's the point of even trying to do an intro? Welcome along, everyone. Nice to have you here. James and Vobsy, ahoy. Welcome along. Flash Yellow, ahoy. Don't disrespect your Raiders. Okay. Can somebody please explain to Flash Yellow that I literally just said that the Raiders are my dark horse to threaten to win the competition? Where's the disrespect? Flash! Must have missed that part. Oh, God. See what you've done, Flash? You've drawn the ire of James. James is a little trigger happy on that, well, I'm assuming mouse button. Anyways, Flash, I reckon the Raiders going to be in for a big, big score tonight. We've got about, what do we got? We've got about 20 minutes to try and get some form of multi on. I've got a $20 bonus bet to play with, so we should try and make this multi something impressive. What should we do? But before we do that, and while everybody's thinking about that, maybe some form of multi that we can put on for tonight's game, I've got to promote the streams coming up, obviously for NRL fans, for the rugby league fans. Coming up on Wednesday night, it might be a dead rubber, but trust me, the drinks will still be flowing, and it will still be party times here at the HQ of the Wasted Water Sports, because Dan and Crowley will be bringing you all the action for Game 3 of State of Origin. Yes, as I said, dead rubber, but let the drinks continue to flow. Any excuse. Not that we need an excuse, but it's a good excuse anyway. It'll be interesting to see if the Blues can avoid a whitewash. Queensland have got the team to inflict a whitewash. And let's be honest, New South Wales have picked a team capable of allowing them to take a whitewash in this series. So we'll have to see what happens there on Wednesday night. We'll cover all the action regardless. Oh, it's terrible, James. James, I don't understand. Now, this may draw the ire of James in saying so, but Clint Gutherson is not a utility player. He's a fullback. It's as simple as that. How many times is Freddie going to put himself in this position where he has no utility back on the bench? Has he not learnt? Has he honestly not learnt a goddamn thing from his 6 years in charge of the Blues? Over the period of that 6 years, there has been constant questions around his selection policies. And often it comes back to bite him and bite New South Wales and bite us as supporters. An outside back goes down early and there's no cover on the bench. And look, as much as Gutherson is a capable NRL level player, he's a fullback. So we haven't really seen him have an opportunity proper at Origin level. He's been in the squad before and he played centre and he stunk the joint out. Single-handedly lost New South Wales a series that year that he was in. He's one of the best attacking players this year. Who? Cody Walker. I think Cody Walker's just a little bit on the overrated side, personally. Just a bit. A little bit overrated. Vobsy says, as a proud New South Wales fan, Queensland sweep. Cody Walker wins it for Queensland. Oh, Gutho. Oh, yes, he is. From fullback, James. He's a fullback. So unless he comes on to replace Teddy at some point, he's proven before at Origin level, he's useless. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Hey, look, nothing against Parramatta. I said the same thing about Nico Hines, didn't I? I said the same thing about Nico. You pick him at 7 or you don't pick him. They picked him, he stunk the joint out because they threw him on at centre. You think he's there because Moses is 7? Possibly so. I can't discredit that in any capacity, but unless he's going to be replacing Teddy and playing at fullback, I don't understand his presence at all. It makes no sense. Flash Yellow says, I said it all year. It's officially Queensland clean sweep. I've said it majority of the year too. Although I think I thought it would be. I think I said 2-1. I was fairly confident that Queensland would win though, and win quite comprehensively and quite comfortably. But still, hey, it still might be 2-1. Who knows? The only way, Vobsy says, I genuinely don't see how New South Wales wins. The only way is getting a dead rubber is very difficult. Nobody wants to be on the receiving end of one, and as much as a team might want one to win, that is, as much as a team might want to win one, you definitely don't want to be on the receiving end of one, especially when it hasn't happened for so long. None of those New South Wales players out there are going to want to be on the receiving end of a loss that created the clean sweep. So I find, and you can agree or disagree, it's personal opinion. I've got no statistics to back this up other than the fact that there's been very few clean sweeps. Even when Queensland had that dynasty-filled team, a team full of potential future immortals, all in the one squad, even they didn't really pull off many clean sweeps, did they? Did they even get one, actually? They might have got one or two. But during that 8 years of dominance, very rare was a Queensland clean sweep. They're hard to get. I think the reason for that is because you don't want to be on the receiving end of one, obviously. You've got a lot more to play for. New South Wales have so much more to play for than Queensland and in this game. And as much as you might really love to win 3-0, there is no plausible way. It's just basic human psychology. You don't lift as much as you do when you've already won. You've already won. And those Queensland players, as much as they might want to sprout on about the job's not done, we're looking for a clean sweep. Yes, every team that's been going into Game 3 2-0 up says the exact same thing. It's human nature and not the band. It's human nature. It's basic 101 psychology. The team down is going to be more up for it than the team coming in with the lead. So, and that's not to say that New South Wales will win. I'm just saying that's where their opportunity is to win, because if they bring more want into this last game, Queensland, human nature, psychology, 101, they're not going to be able to lift as much as they have for game 1 or 2. The job's done. It's over. Just my opinion. Anyway. Game of Mel, ahoy! How are you doing? Game of Mel, freshly on the leaderboard here at the Wasted World of Sports. Where are you? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th spot. Not bad. You're in the top 4. It means you get a second chance if you get eliminated. James says, I feel... Oh! Actually, let me read your comment first, James. You feel this game is a cementing game for a few players. I honestly think Luai has done his chances with the New South Wales Rugby League bigwigs, so Cody could be playing for the number 6 jersey. The only thing I'll say about Cody Walker is he's 34 years old. I don't think Cody Walker is going to be cementing any number 6 jersey. Yeah, he's not going to have very many years left. That's the only thing I would say about that. But yes, Jerome, I've said it before. I've been saying it all year, even in Panthers games. Jerome Luai without Nathan Cleary is not the same player. He's very reliant on Nathan Cleary being in the squad. We've said that during at least a couple of streams in Clubland this year. And to be fair, Luai, I don't understand why he's copying so much flack. Luai was probably one of the only threatening attacking players in Game 1. He was one of the standouts, I thought, in Game 2. But anyway, just my 2 cents, of course, for what it's worth. I'm not suggesting that he should have been retained in the squad, because the way that New South Wales played in Game 2, you could still be the best player and still be shit. Overall, let's face it, they were terrible. They stunk up the joint in Game 2. But it'll be interesting to see how some of the players go. Bradman Best is an interesting call. The thing that concerns me about Bradman Best and his selection is not so much the fact that he's been selected. I couldn't care less that he's been selected. At least he's actually a centre. It's been a long while since New South Wales have actually picked people in the positions they're meant to be. But at least he's been in and around the New South Wales setup since juniors. So it makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the timing. I don't understand the timing. And especially what Freddie said. Freddie said around his selection is that he's been in and around the New South Wales system for a few years. We've always earmarked him. Staggs is injured, isn't he? Staggs is carrying an injury. And Staggs has been there before and proven he wasn't up to it. That'd be the other. If he's not injured, he's been there before and failed miserably. Geez, I'm glad that the Sharks game was this week and not last weekend, because honestly, the Sharks last night, we didn't stream the game. We did not stream the game, but we did follow it over on the Discord. And Talakai had one of his fantastic games. I can only imagine that if that game happened last week, which wasn't possible, of course, but if that game had have happened last week, Freddie would have fast-tracked him into the Origin squad, I'm sure of it. He picked him last year off of one good game. But anyway, what was I talking about? Bradman Best. Bradman Best has been in and around the system since juniors. But the thing that I found interesting about Freddie selecting him now, it's the timing. It's all that's right. That's what I was talking about. It's all about the timing. The timing of it all. And Freddie has come out and said, we've always felt that he's an Origin standard player, so we want to see what he looks like at Origin level. You've been in this job for 6 years, mate. 6 years. And over that 6 years, many a time has been that we've needed a centre in the squad. You're picking him now? Come on. Come on. That doesn't make sense. If he's been earmarked, as they say, and you've wanted to see how he's gone, I seem to recall a couple of years ago, was it a couple of years ago when New South Wales were up 2-0, dead rubber? Put him in then, see how he goes. I don't know. I think Freddie has slowly but surely lost the plot. I've said my thoughts on Brad Fittler many a time. I don't think he's necessarily up for it. He makes the same selection mistakes over and over again. He's made them again. There is no outside back coverage on the bench for Game 3. If Bradman Best or Stephen Crichton fall over early in the game, heaven help us if Gutherson's coming on to play centre, because that's happened before, and he got tormented all goddamn night by Capewell. Anyway. Well, Matt Lodge will be looking for a job, won't he, Bobsy? I've heard that Matt Lodge is moving on. Maybe that's why he's moving on. Maybe he has spotted some sort of opportunity to become the... He's not moving on? I heard that he's moving on. Oh, he is moved on. Okay, there you go. I stand corrected. He is gone. Has moved on. He's gone skis. I wonder where he will end up. Good old Matt Lodge. I can only imagine Matt Lodge and Aaron Woods should get together and do a podcast. They would have behind-the-scenes stories on so many clubs. Would be interesting listening, I think. Matt Lodge and Aaron Woods. Aaron Woods. You could call it the Wood Lodge. The Wood Lodge podcast. And their set would be obviously inside a wooden ski lodge. And they could tell stories all about behind the scenes of the multiple clubs that they've both been part of over the years. Shack of Hearts, irrespective of my loyalty to the Maroons as a Queenslander, if I was the coach of New South Wales, I would have taken Scott Drinkwater as the bench utility. He can cover outside backs and 5/8. Fair enough, Shaka Parts. I can't argue with that. I mean, over the two options available, apparently, in the squad that was selected, it would have made more sense to me. But anyway, not my decision to make. All right, so also, anyways, enough Origin talk. Bollocks to it. Coming up this weekend, it's the... hang on. He cannot, James. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. Imagine Gutherson playing 5'8". God. Although, I suppose I'd rather see him at 5'8" than centre again. Oh, that was the most abysmal... It's not a debate, James. We've seen Gutherson play centre at Origin level before. It's not a debate. The runs are on the board, and it was a duck. A golden duck. I understand you are, James. I know. That's why I tried to tread lightly, because obviously Eels. I tried my best to tread lightly. But, and look, I'm a Sharks fan, so I like Nico Hines as well, but good Lord, he's not a utility player. He can play fullback, and he can obviously play halfback at Clubland, but I don't recall him ever being a centre, so throwing him on for his first ever time at centre at Origin level was just ludicrous. But that's the sort of thing that Freddie does, isn't it? Freddie will be Freddie. It's all good, James. Just, I tried to tread lightly, but I'm sorry, but Gutherson is not a utility. There's a reason that the Eels are actively seeking out a utility signing, a gun utility backline signing. There's a reason for that, because Gutho is not a utility. Great fullback at club level. Great fullback. But he's a fullback. Anyway. Enough. We've got this monstrosity of a game to talk about. I'm actually really not excited for this game. I just wasn't able to... Exactly, Shaka Farts. Exactly. That is exactly my thinking right now. Is this is all we've got to talk about is Origin on Wednesday. Oh, I'll tell you what else is coming up. Oh, that's right. That's what I was looking up. I am fairly certain that the Rugby Championships kick off this weekend. In which case, I will be covering all the Wallabies and All Blacks games. That's not Wallabies versus All Blacks exclusive. That's Wallabies and All Blacks games. The Wallabies' first game is against the Springboks, and the All Blacks are off to Argentina. So yes, I haven't got a chance to do any artwork or anything for that, but the Rugby Championships are back again for season 2023. A shortened Rugby Championship, of course, with the World Cup coming up at the end of the year. All right, I'm going to have a very quick toilet break. And then maybe we should talk about this game that's coming up when I return. Or not. Yes, we do need to talk about this game coming up because I really need to slap a multi on. God damn it. Where's the... All right, there it is. Okay. Teams are getting ready to come out onto the field for this one. I'm so unexcited about this game. All right. No chance to put a multi on. It doesn't matter. Oh, no, it does matter because that bonus bet is only valid for 7 days. Good Lord. Oh, no. I don't think I'm going to have time to get one on here. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Okay, I've got a minute 30. All right. What do we reckon? Hudson Young, Matt Tomoko, Jack Whiten, Ravalawa. How does that sound? Hudson Young, Matt Tomoko, Jack Whiten, and Ravalawa. Ravalawa's always a decent bet for the Dragons to score. All right. In terms of the Rugby World Cup, though, I suppose we can get into that conversation at half-time, can't we? Once again, how enthralling is this game that I'm contemplating talking about the Rugby World Cup at halftime as opposed to this game that we are currently, presently viewing and is about to kick off any second now. It's getting ready to kick off. So I've got to try and remember who I've got in the multi. Ravalawa, I know, is one. And we are underway here at Wynn Stadium. Not much of a turn-up, but why would there be a turnout? Why would they show up? Their team has been a bloody shambles. The poor old Dragons. I'd be interested to know how many people have gone the Dragons in the Wasted Water Sports tipping contest, because surprisingly, a few people went for the Tigers last night. Shack of Hearts says it's a game featuring two badly unbalanced teams missing their origin stars. What origin stars do the Raiders have? My apologies to the Raiders. But who do they have playing origin? Anyone? The Dragons have obviously got Ben Hunt out. Oh, Corey Horsburgh. Yeah, the big ranger, Horsburgh, of course. Oh, well, one player. That's one player that won't be missed. Meaning that the Raiders have a massive forward pack. Nothing against Big Red, personally. And an early mistake here from the Raiders. A forward pass from dummy half. And the Dragons are going to have the ball here inside Raiders territory. Oh, that's Vobsy throwing the smackdown on the Dragons. Oh, it was Hudson Young as well. Hudson Young. Why was Hudson Young even in at dummy half there, throwing that pass forward? Oh, no. And now the Dragons get themselves in a little bit of a predicament. And it's a penalty to the Raiders. Michelle, ahoy. Well, this game has started. How would you describe this? Awful. Yeah, who did it? Raiders, tackle 3 now, 25 out from the Dragons line on the attack. Hudson Young, who dropped from the Origin squad, of course. How he was even picked in the first place, I'll never goddamn know, but spread into wide here and some space for Rapana. Has to cut back in field and surrender. 5th and last. Raiders 10 out. Fogarty, crossfield kick. Lomax up above there. Up there, Gazali. Surely the Raiders were taken out there in the chase. Talpo, ahoy. Pillow said hi. Well, ahoy there, Pillow. I think she means Willow. James says, how about Marsh belting the Poms last night? How is Mitchell Marsh? I didn't even know he was still alive. The guy, I said to Michelle on Facebook, the guy's a cockroach. Every time you think you've squashed him and he's gone, he's back again. But anyways, I suppose Mitchell Marsh, he got a century in the Ashes, thus proving that everybody deserves at least 200 chances at test level. And finally some success will come along. So, congrats, Mitchell Marsh. A penalty to the Raiders again. The Dragons looking perplexed. But they were apparently up inside the 10. Taupo says, I'm watching you right now from Pillow. Once again, I think she means Willow. Raiders with some good shape out to the right here. And Tomoko, he's part of my multi. A very unexpected bonus bet multi. Wouldn't it be hilarious if that's the one that pays off? Usually I put so much thought into these multis and they are just horrible. They go balls up. Wouldn't it be hilarious if the one that I just slapped on in an emergency is the one that ends up paying out? That'd be great. A mistake from the Raiders, though, and it's Dragons' ball and a penalty to boot. What a scrappy game. An absolute scrappy game this has been to start. Raiders, Dragons. Do you feel like the Raiders have potentially been dragged down to St. George level in this game? It's only 7 minutes old, but teams who are down the bottom of the table, they have a tendency to drag the top teams down for a little bit. Big stances of play, periods of play. They bring them down to their level. And this has been a very uncharacteristic start for the Raiders. Amone keeps it alive. The Dragons, they're looking good here for first try. Francis Mollo just 5 meters out. Tackle 3. What a turn-up this would be. We saw it last night too, though, didn't we? We saw it. The Tigers pushed the Sharks for 40 minutes. They couldn't keep it up. Maybe we're going to see something similar here tonight. 5th and last, Dragons. Crossfield kick from Sullivan. It's perfectly placed, but it's knocked on by Sully and the Raiders. Sweet relief for Ricky's Green Goblins. Oh, and don't tell me there's another penalty here. Another penalty. No. Oh, good. Good. The Dragons have given away so many penalties. Scrappy old game to start off with here. 0-0 the score, 8 minutes gone. Vobsy says, what's my predicted conversion rate for Zach Lomax this game? Jeez, okay. I wonder how many shots he's going to get at it. Oh, and Tomoko goes straight through. Makes a line break. Support on the inside. Fogarty's away. Taken high and wrangled down by Fangai. 6 again. They stay on the short side here, the Raiders. Harbour bridge ball, completely unnecessary. And Elliot Whitehead with an athletic take above his head right on the sideline. And they stay blindside again, and a try for Rapana. Oh, the Raiders are up 4-0. The Dragons are just standing around holding their hips. They were just targeting the blind side here, the Raiders. Oh, we've got a try celebration. What are they coming up with? Oh, it's cricket. Where are the Ashes? Rapana to Whitehead. Oh, they've recreated. They have recreated the very controversial run out from the Ashes as their try celebration. That's got to be worth a few bob, that one, surely. Hey, what about Nico Hines last night doing the shoey in his try celebration and then having the try disallowed? Must have felt quite foolish. But that's a good one there. The Raiders, Jordan Rapana to Whitehead. It would have been a no ball, by the way. You can still get run out off a no ball, though, to be fair. It was a no ball. It was miles above waist height. Through to the keeper. And Whitehead moving out of his crease there a little bit. It was very cringe, James, in all honesty. It was very, very, very cringe. Oh, so you're on cricket now, says Michelle. They literally just did a reenactment for Try July celebration, Michelle. What am I supposed to do? Ignore that fact? I can ignore you just fine, but I'm going to ignore what we all just saw on the TV. God damn it. The Raiders are winning 6-0. Conversion successful from the sideline. 6-0 Raiders. Ricky's Green Goblins. And Rapana. Oh, hang on. Was Rapana in my multi? Don't mind me. I'm just going to ignore Michelle's message and check my multi. No, Rapana was not in my multi. Jesus Christ. Jack Whiten's in my multi. Oh, good Lord. I'll drink to that, Fobsy. I will drink to that. Real cricket. Snooze fest. Especially, I try. Hey, look, real cricket is good when there's two quality teams playing each other. It's just very rare in real cricket that there's two quality teams at the same time anymore. It's always one country's dominating and the rest are playing catch-ups. And then when the rest actually catch up, it's only one that catches up, and they catch up because the team that was dominating for years falls away a little bit. Yeah, it's very rare that you get real cricket and there's two or three top teams all at once, and you get quality cricket. The late 90s, early 2000s, when South Africa were at their absolute peak. You had South Africa, you had Australia, and you had India. And it was a roll of the dice whenever those three teams were involved against each other in any capacity. It was a complete roll of the dice. Just because New Zealand suck now New Zealand suck now at cricket. New Zealand suck now. Apart from a half a year period, when have New Zealand ever been good at cricket? What the hell kind of statement is that? That is the most ridiculous comment I think we've ever received here on this channel. New Zealand suck at cricket now. They've never been good. Ever. The 1999 Cricket World Cup, in my opinion, that was the most competitive. We're talking about real cricket, James. T20 doesn't qualify as real cricket. Real. Did I just say cricket? Oh my God, I'm talking to children. Cricket. Anyway, how fantastic is this game that we're now talking about cricket and debating what is real cricket and what is not? A very enthralling contest that we've got going on here. Oh, Dragons down the short side have created some space. Finally, something's happening. No support there for Little. It's the fifth and last, the Dragons. Oh, he's kicked it early. Sullivan has kicked it early, and he has kicked it too deep. It's over the end goal line. Oh, they had them stretched. He put boot to ball too early. Yeah, well, Michelle, let's not forget that I was a Brisbane Heat supporter, so Brandon McCullum is not exactly my favourite person in the world. So I couldn't really care less. Raiders back in Dragon territory. Fifth and last. 20 out. Short side they go. Ravalawa with the leap. Oh, the Dragons, it's messy. Oh, it's messy. It is the messiest. And it's a knock on. Zach Lomax involved. Don't think it was his fault. No, that is not Lomax's fault, but that was just odd. James says, Michelle, I'm on top of Vomsy. Sounds like these guys need to come with me to the beat next time, Michelle. Oh, hang on. You beat me to it. You beat me to it! Sorry. Unintentional comedy that only I laughed at. It's fine. Oh, the Raiders pressure on the Dragons line here. 5 out. Short side they go again. They're doing some damage down the blind side. The Raiders. Ricky's Green Goblins. Tackle 4. Big line up to the right. Trying to get it out there. Oh, running crossfield. Crossfield. Tarpany. Tarpany goes on his own, and that's a try. Oh, that is weak defense from the Dragons. That is embarrassing from the Dragons. Tarpany has run 1,700 miles across field, straightened up and straight through some weak defense. 10 points to 0 Raiders. Kick to come. Here he is. Tarpany. It's scrappy ball. It's loose ball. He has run 20 metres across field and then straightened, and a very lazy attempt from Murdoch Masilla. Oh, that is disgraceful from the Dragons. Try confirmed. What was Blocker Roach just says Murdoch Masilla just tried to come over the top of... Stop being dirty, everyone. Come on. Ever since the beat was brought up, this whole stream's gone downhill. $10 to 0. Ricky's Green Goblins. I wonder how Flash Yellow's doing. He must be pretty happy right about now. 10-0 kick to come. Well, I know for a fact that Tarpany was not in my multi. Ha! Mark Morris Bus. Yes, indeed. South Africa to beat the Wallabies and the All Blacks to sneak past Argentina. It's always a different game. When the All Blacks go to Argentina, they're always up for it, the Argies. But yeah, I reckon the Springboks demolish the Wallabies. Demolish them. And I think the All Blacks win, but it's going to be tight for 60 minutes. About 60 minutes, I say, Argentina are well in the fight. And maybe a late try to the All Blacks or a late penalty sees the All Blacks home by 8 to 10 points. No, the Argies, James. A little bit of an inside joke. I mean, obviously, Argentina, Argies. But yes, some good mates of mine who are in a band called the Argies. Yeah, they're not the Pumas to me. They're the Argies. Always the Argies. But anyway. Bobsy says Matt Lodge should go play Union. Yeah, probably not a bad call. Probably not a bad call at all there, Bobsy. UOC Only Fam says, I was joking, but it is actually a gay bar. What Michelle says, I love the beat. It's great fun. Absolutely it is. And not be bothered by gross boys. Well, speak for yourself. Why is the New Zealand public so pessimistic about their test team? Oz Rugby in Super Rugby were crap, but the sentiment with their team is positive. Because it has to be. It has to be. And we haven't seen the Eddie Jones coached Wallabies. We haven't seen what they're capable of. Whereas New Zealand have got a terrible coach, proven to be a terrible coach, so much so he's already fired. His contract's not getting renewed. They've been the All Blacks since Foster took over have been headless in attack. Completely clueless. I mean, that's why MMB. Can I call you MMB? So that I don't have to say Moas Bass every single time. I'll just call you MMB. That's why, mate. The Wallabies, all it's going to take is the Wallabies to lose a few games, and that will turn around. That's all there is to it, I think. I mean, Eddie Jones, here's the thing about Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones is very capable of turning teams around. Just look at what he did for England. Oh, Timoko's gone straight through. He's headed for the corner. Oh, he's taking on the fullback. He can't get through. Oh, he's having a blinder. Timoko, however you pronounce it. Having an absolute blinder. Four line breaks to 1 in favour of Canberra. I love that we've spoken so much about this game. It's obviously highly entertaining. Oh, dear. Fifth and last, Raiders. They're 5 out. They go to the left-hand side from in front of the post. And Zach Lomax, what a pickup. Zach Lomax saves the day for the Dragons. And a penalty to boot. Very relieving one. No, I understand Shack of Hearts, but I don't know if it's Timoko. Hang on, let's do the syllables. Let's go back to school and do the syllables, because I know it's 3 syllables. What I don't know is the pronunciation. Okay, see, I'm saying Timoko. 3 syllables. So Timoko. Emphasis on mo. Timoko is what I'm saying. But is the emphasis on Timoko? Is the emphasis meant to be on ko? Is it Timoko or Timoko? Timoko. Trust me, Shayavars, I understand the syllables. It's the pronunciation I'm not sure about. Once again, how great is this game that we've now gone back to preschool? And we're doing syllable claps as the Dragons get themselves 10 out from the line on the attack, 5th and last. A Harbour Bridge pass out to Ravalawa. It's about 10 metres forward. But geez, it was on there. We thought it was a try. Yes, it was. A mile forward. On an offload from Guler and Sebastian Chris. Upfield. 40 out from their own line here, the Raiders. Yes, Ravalawa, I would have taken that for sure. Anyway, plenty of time. The Dragons are just not looking likely. As here's a charge for the Raiders. Nearly breaking through. Quick play the ball. Staying down the short side. Whitehead to Rapana. The quick ball. Oh, it's a try for Timoko. Or Timoko, however you pronounce it. Timoko. Shack of Hearts is saying the O sound is soft. So the I is an E sound. Okay. So I say Timoko, being drunken Australian English. Timoko. It's a try for that guy. Yes, it's a try for the guy that I think is in my multi. This guy's in my multi, right? Yes! That's one tick. One tick on the multi. It's all right. It's only a bonus bet anyway. I don't care. Vobsy says, just say Matthew. Can't screw that one up. That's thinking. All right. I'm going to take this opportunity to have a very quick break and reevaluate my life. No, it's not that bad. Be right back. One-way traffic here. One-way traffic. Raiders 18. Zip. And there is still 12 and a half minutes to go until halftime. It's going to be a long old night for the Dragons. Ricky's Green Goblins. I wouldn't say they're on fire, but obviously they're looking the best of the two teams here tonight thus far. Raiders with all the momentum. All the front foot ball. 18 points to 0. Plenty of points to show for it as well, but they'll probably want more, I dare say. They've been doing some damage down the blind side. 23 missed tackles for the Dragons. 23. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but 23 missed tackles, that's a lot for a game, isn't it? Let alone the first 30 minutes. Shack of Heart says, do you think the Dragons will suffer the same fate as the Tigers and the Bulldogs? What, you mean lose by over 50? Fifth and last, Dragons 40 out. If Ravalawa gets a try, I'll be happy. If Ravalawa gets a try, I reckon the multi is probably on. If we get to halftime and Ravalawa does not have that try, I will be a little bit concerned. I mean, there's some concerning legs there from the Raiders side of things as well, but I just think they're more likely. All the Raiders players right now are much more likely than the Dragons. Just Ravalawa, Vobsy. He's the only one. I can foresee Ravalawa having an Olam moment. Charging down the sideline in the 80th minute for a consolation try to make the scoreline 62-4 or something. $18 points still it is, though, at the moment. 10 minutes to go until the break. Oh, there's a slight lift there. That's always dangerous. Nothing in it, mind you, but it's always dangerous when you see a player get any sort of elevation and nearly hit their head on the turf. Blindside go the Dragons now. Nope, nothing on there. Switch of direction. James says, surely no one tipped the Dragons in the tipping? Well, I don't know, James. I would have thought that nobody picked the Tigers last night. And they did. I am stunned by the amount of people that tip the Tigers. Because the Tigers were the home team, let's not forget. It was the Tigers' home game. So it's not like... And so's this. The Dragons are the home team as well. So anybody who has picked the Tigers and the Dragons, they've purposely picked them. Because obviously, if you just don't put your tips in, you get given the away teams, which would be the Sharks and the Raiders. So anybody who has tipped the Tigers and or the Dragons have purposely done it. Inside Dragons territory once more. The Raiders looking for more points. Been a terrible game. Let's be honest. I'm not employed by the NRL or Channel 9, so I'm allowed to say it how it is. This game has been awful. Oh, great play here. Fogarty skips past one. Can't get through the line, though. Last night was good for 40 minutes or so. Oh, straight through. It's on again here for the Raiders. Can't get the ball away. And then forcing the pass, and Hudson Young will drop it. Well, he's the knock on. The referee's going upstairs just to have a look-see, but clear knock on. Hudson Young doesn't care about it. He knows he's dropped it. Scrappy all around. And now it's off his hand. And it's off his hand again. If he didn't knock it on the first time, he knocked it on the second time. Gamer Mel says you're already falling asleep, but you know you will wake up early if you fall asleep now. Stick around, Gamer Mel. Stick around, have a chat. We're going to have a chat at halftime about all things not this game, so that none of us are bored. Who knows? I might even pull a surprise out of the hat and do an Intoxigamer stream later on tonight. I've got nothing else to do. Mind you, you probably don't need to be up that long. And I probably won't end up doing an Intoxigamer stream, let's face it. Okay, there you go. James says you can always stack cups. A few practice sessions. Vopsy says, Dan, who have you got for the spoon? Dragons or Tigers? Oh, jeez, honestly, I would not have had either of them at the start of the season. Tigers have just been terrible, haven't they? Heel fries, ahoy! How are you there, mate? Awesome shape here for the Dragons, and threatening to get through. Ravalawa. No, it's not. It's a different person of colour on that side of the field. They've got front foot ball here, though, the Dragons. 7 minutes to go till the break. Right in front of the post, they are 12 out to the right-hand edge. Nothing doing out there. Staying on the blind side. Oh, it's a try. Amone. No, he's short. Jeez. Here's Ravalawa. Oh, the big unit. There he is. He's about twice the size of the other guy that I called earlier. Ravalawa gets the try. And that actually sends my multi at halftime into a pretty good space. The Dragons' try was always going to be the difficult one in this contest, whereas the Raiders, they look likely every time they touch the ball, and it could be from anybody. Ravalawa getting it for the Dragons. That's big. The multi is on. From dummy half, a metre out, you're not going to stop the big unit. Look at the size of him. Try for the Dragons. Ravalawa has scored at least one try against all 16 NRL opponents. How's that for a statistic? As the try is confirmed, and that is another tick off the multi. That's massive. That is actually huge, because the Dragons, as I've been saying, the Dragons are the ones who are not looking likely to score tries. The fact that the one that they've got is Ravalawa, that is massive indeed. So we have a full half of footy. We have a full half of footy for Jack Whiten, Hudson Young. Oh, geez, they're not a great two for me to have on there. They're really not. I'm not confident at all about those two being on there. But that said, the Raiders, they're looking likely every time they touch the ball. There could be a lot of tries upcoming in the second half. Gamer Mel says, Dan, did I tell you the week I had last week in Sportsbet? No, I don't think so. I do not think so, Gamer Mel. Raiders get us back underway. Oh, they've let the ball bounce, the Dragons. Oh, it's a nightmare at the back. Jeez, you don't let the kickoff bounce. I mean, that's just the basics of the game. And the Dragons have just stood there like great goofs and watched the ball bounce. And they've nearly made a complete and total hash of it. You wouldn't believe it. They've just scored a try. And then they stand there and watch the kickoff bounce. Could have gone absolutely anywhere. It's all right, James. The point system does not work like that. If that's what you're suggesting, which I think you are. Yeah. My belief is that you're suggesting, of course, that he's chatting, in your opinion, more often, so as to try and re-overtake you at the top of the leaderboard. And, yes, it doesn't work that way. I'm not going to divulge... 100% of how the algorithm works, but rest assured it doesn't matter how many messages you send. So that doesn't matter. It's not possible to cheat the system in that way, just so you know. And a complete mess at the back here from Paul Turner. Fogarty's put the ball high. And Turner has made a hash of that at the back. Raiders will get another shot here before the break. But it doesn't matter because we've got the Dragons' leg of the multi ticked off. Quade Lightning, ahoy there. How are you, mate? I know Quade Lightning. I do not know Chanel Hautapu. But welcome along, Quaid. Lightning. Well, welcome back, I should say. Gamer Mel says, I had a $1 bonus bet, so you put a random bet to win 66 on the Raiders versus the Titans. You won 50 in 2 different bets for Tigers versus Cowboys. Oh, nice. Very impressive, Gamer Mel. Very good job. 2 tackles left here for the Raiders. Oh, the kick through. Oh, it's a terrible kick. But Turner has done his best to make a complete meal of it at the back. And you've got to feel sorry for Paul Turner at this point in time. Same here. Oh, Quaid Lightning, same here. The Raiders were not anywhere near my thinking for the top 8, let alone the top 4 this year. They have now become, just quietly, as much as I hate to admit it, because we all know from last year how much I hate the Raiders, they have actually quietly become the dark horses for the competition for mine. What does everybody else think? James and Vopsy have kind of accused themselves into silence. But yeah, what does anyone else think? I did not have the Raiders anywhere near the top 8 at the start of the year. And now, if they play to their potential, I think they could certainly cause a few upsets, if not threaten to win the competition on their day. Hence the term dark horse for the comp. 12 seconds to go till the break. Fogarty puts the kick through. It's off the upright and falls back. And it's a try for the Raiders. Jamal Fogarty with the kick through. It's off the post. Purposely off the post. He's aimed for it. He is connected with it. It bounces back. And it's a try for that guy. Whoever it is. I feel like I've never seen him before in my life. Number 18 for the Raiders. Frawley. Matthew Frawley. 22 points to 6. The kick to come from right under the posts. Geez, if that ball does not ricochet off the uprights, Hudson Young is right there. Hudson Young scores the try if it doesn't hit the post. And that would have been another one off my multi, James. It hits the post. It ricochets perfectly for Frawley. Hey, he was on the last Origin stream, says Vopsy. No, that was Crowley. Oh, 100%. Shack of Hearts. 100%. He was totally aiming for that. You could tell. From right in front, conversion successful. Jared Croker puts it over to send the Raiders in 24-6 at halftime. Devastating times. No, Fogarty put the kick in. I was gonna say you put Matthew Frawley in your multi. Though those would be some Vince McMahon-sized grapefruits right there, my friend. Shack of Hearts is like, cool, we can talk Rugby World Cup and the Rugby Championship. All right, I'm having one of those nights. I'm having one of those nights where the drinks have been flowing a little bit too much and I need to pee like I'm about 80 years old. So I'll be right back.
Monstrous stats in the first 14 minutes. Hopefully that won't prevent him from coming out at half-time. Up next, all the first half action from Wynn Stadium at Wollongong. It is the Raiders. They lead 24-6 on your Friday night footy on Fox now this Sunday. The Aussies are taking over Las Vegas. 5 Australians featured on one of the most stacked fight cards of the year, headlined by our very own world champion Ata Mariota. Order now, UFC tonight.
All right. Terrible to be a Dragons supporter right about now, Quaid. They're not having a good year. I think things will turn around for the Dragons, of course. I mean, not this year, but... not this year, but in time. In Time, what a great movie. Has anyone seen that movie? Fantastic film, I thought. Underrated, underappreciated film. Not a lot of people seem to know about it, but I thought it was quite cool. It was a futuristic, in a futuristic time, and the movie, based in a futuristic landscape where the currency was literal time. Quite interesting. But anyway, Chanel. Oh, sorry, Chanel. Quaid. Chanel Quaid Lightning says, hey, great times for the Sharks. I'm afraid that my Sharkies have not sold me yet on season 2023. They might be sitting equal first on the ladder at the moment, with other teams to play, of course. Well, not play, but get the bye. Other teams around them are going to get the bye. But so they will not finish this weekend on equal first. But, yeah, they have not sold me. There are some big deficiencies in that Sharks team. Defensively, especially. I find it interesting that Fitzy was the Roosters defensive coach. Am I right, Fopsy? When he was there, Fitzy was in charge of the defense. I can't understand how Fitzy has now come over to the Sharks, taken over the head coaching role, and their defense has been absolutely abysmal. The Sharks' defense at times borders on non-existent. And you just think, we've got Fitzy. We have Fitzy as our coach. It's inexcusable, the defense of the Sharks at times. It really is. But anyways, look, they're hanging in there. You've got to be in it to win it, as they say. And look, the Sharks are hanging around. First point of call should be getting there, but yeah, the Sharks have not filled me with any confidence at all in season 2023. That's for sure. Vobsy says, great time for the Roosters. Yeah, the Roosters are making it hard on themselves. Look, I think they'll still be in the 8. I had the Roosters threatening for the minor premiership before the season kicked off, and I know that I'm not alone in that thought. They've made it very, very difficult on themselves. But all is not lost. I'm trying to think of who my top 8 was. See, we didn't do a video. We did not do a balls to the wall video for the top 8 this year. We did last year. And so I'm trying to think of who, honestly, and I'm trying to be honest, I'm not looking to make stuff up with the benefit of hindsight, I'm trying to think at the start of the year what my top 8 was. I definitely had the Cowboys in the top 4 because the Cowboys, speaking of teams that haven't helped themselves thus far, the Cowboys had the easiest draw of 2023. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to distinguish between what I think now versus what I thought back then. But look, Panthers definitely number 1. I always had the Panthers at 1. So that means I probably had the Roosters at 2. I did not honestly have the Raiders in the top 8 at all. The Raiders were nowhere near the top 8 at the start of the year for me. I had Manly in the top 8 somewhere. Top 4, I think. I probably had Manly 4th. I'm pretty sure that my top 4 at the start of the year was Panthers. Yeah, I think I had Panthers, Roosters, Cowboys, Storm. Panthers, Roosters, Cowboys, Storm. That was my top 4. And I think I had Manly at 5. Broncos at 6. Can't remember who I had at 7. Yes, I think you're right, James. I had the Eels 7th or 8th. So the Eels were in there somewhere. I'm trying to think who else I would have had in there. I guess I probably put the Sharks in there somewhere. I probably had the Sharks in the top 8 somewhere. Yeah, so I think at the start of the year, my top 8 was looking something like Panthers, Roosters, Cowboys, Storm, Manly, Broncos, Sharks, Eels. That would make sense. That's a fair enough sounding top 8 from the start of the year, I think. Samuel Matthew, ahoy there. Broncos, Storm, Panthers, and Cowboys, top 4. There's absolutely no way the Broncos are finishing top 4, even with all their home games this season. Quade Lightning, you're going to eat, but you'll be back when the second half is on. Are you sure, mate? Are you sure? The first half was abysmal. I can only imagine the second half will be much more of the same. Remember, hey, James, remember when it used to be the Tigers who would always finish 9th? So much so that it was a meme at one point about the Tigers coming 9th. All right. Anyways, yeah, let's talk Rugby World Cup. Shack of Hearts has got some news for the Rugby World Cup. I have absolutely no way of proving this, by the way. Zero for me to prove this. But I actually said, I've been talking 3 years ago. Oh, Ireland versus All Blacks final, James reckons. No, James, I have absolutely no way of proving this. No way at all. But a few years back, France sent essentially a reserve grade side over to Australia for a 3-game series, and they were 1 penalty away from winning the series. I've been saying for the past 3 years, France win the next Rugby World Cup. It is their time. Shack of Heart says there will be a bunker review official for all games in the World Cup who will operate separate from the TMO. All right, so that's interesting. So how's that going to work? So there are specific, from the sounds of that, there's going to be specific TMO calls, whether it be by the referee or whether it be by a challenge system. And there will be a bunker review official just monitoring things in the background for all the obvious and immediate stuff, I guess. I don't know. So what's the... All right, here we go. Okay, Shackelfart says they will do an independent examination on foul play after on-field refs and the TMO identify foul play. Oh, so it's just another... It's another thing. It's just another thing. It's like is that kind of like the NRL match review committee? Only instead of reviewing the game after the fact, they're essentially another bunker reviewing it as it's happening. Geez, at what point does it end, though? If we're going to that extreme, at what point does it end? You've got the TMO. You've got a TMO review official. Do we then need an official to review the reviewer of the TMO? Like, if this is the course that we're going down, where does it end? Shackelfart says, so a player can be yellow carded and placed on report, and then the review official will determine if the offence is worthy of a send-off, at which point a sin bin can be upgraded to a send-off. So why do we need... And I appreciate that you probably don't have the answers to this, Shackelfarts, but why do we need another official for that? So is this actually a completely separate thing, or is it just more power for the TMO? I know it wasn't your idea, Shackelfarts. I appreciate the fact it wasn't your idea. I'm just curious. You've got more answers than I do at the moment, because I'd not even heard of this. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand the point of that. Like, if the referee sends somebody off, wouldn't you just give more power to the existing TMO to review the footage? And I don't know. But then if the TMO is the one who reviews the footage that decides that there's... Jesus Christ, you know what? I don't care. I don't care anymore. That's way too much for me. Second half ready to get underway here. So, we need, in this second half, we need Hudson Young. We need Jack Whiten. And that'll be $500 for me. Or for $20 bonus bet. Not bad. Hudson Young, Jack Whiten, let's make it happen here in the second half. Because Lord knows that's really the only story to tell in this second half, is my multi. Oh, and the Raiders have started straight through and losing the ball. Fogarty looming up in support, but drops the ball. But boy, they started well there. A break in the first 30 seconds. That is actually a fantastic description of it, James. That is actually brilliant. Yes. Exactly. It's like getting punished by mum and dad, and then the grandparents review the punishment. That's exactly what it's like. But yes, Shack of Hearts, 100%. I've been saying, yeah, Shack of Hearts, you might be able to help me out here, mate. France sent... Oh, it's lost forward, and Zach Lomax picks the ball up and scores. Zach Lomax. A perfect start to the second half for the Dragons. Out of nowhere, we were getting ready to go into more rugby union talk, and then out of absolutely nowhere, Zach Lomax has picked up a loose ball and scored for the Dragons. It was a big hit from Ravalawa on Croker. There was nothing happening there. Nothing at all. And then Ravalawa puts a big hit on Croker. The ball spills loose. And Lomax, Christmas in July for Lomax, scores the easiest try that he will ever score in his entire career. 24-10, kick to come. What the hell was that? Zach Lomax reminds me of Mr. Squiggle. Oh. Guess who's doing AI at full time? Oh, I wonder if Michelle's still there. Michelle would love the Shane Warne Austin Powers. I'm sure of it. Oh, Lomax with an absolute disaster of a kick at goal. So he kicks his first one from the sideline, and he makes a complete and total dog's breakfast of this one from just to the right of the post. He was so happy with the try, Lomax, he forgot to kick the goal as well. 24 points to 10, 37 to go. All right, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, Shack of Hearts. I've got absolutely no way of proving this. No way at all. But you might be able to help me out here with the time frame. France sent basically a junior side over to Australia for a 3-test series. Oh, here go the Dragons again. Support on the inside. Back outside to Turner. Steps outside. 10 out from the line. Stay on the blind side here. Amone just short of the line. The Dragons have suddenly turned it on here at Witten Stadium. Ravalawa looking for a double. What a start to the second half here. The Dragons. Big line up to the left. Sullivan, though. Change of direction. They're just to the right of the post here. 10 out. Amone. Early tackle, I thought, from Croker. It's got to be a penalty for the Dragons. And it is. Not being allowed to get up and play the ball. It's going to be a full set of 6 here for the Dragon. Take the 2. They should take the 2, get themselves back within 2 converted tries. Really? Here they go, though. Tap and go. 10 out. Tackle 1. They're in front of the post. 10 meters out here, the Dragons. Mbai. To the left they go. Charging towards the line. Centimetre short on tackle 2. Lined up to the right. Sullivan steps and goes on his own. Nothing doing there. A try here would make this very interesting. And by calling runners back on the inside. And it's Russell taken down just to the right of the post. Still 5 out. They go to the left. A huge open side. 5th and last. 6 again on the 5th and last to set restart. Oh, the Dragons, they're being kept in this game to start the second half. Disaster for Ricky's Green Goblins. Amone steps, goes on his own. They're up quickly here again, the Raiders. And by looking for the line. Can't get there. So close. Another break from dummy half. Sullivan this time. Can't get over the line. They're holding them up. They're pushing them back. 5th and last, the Dragons. 5th and last. Held up over the line. This is going to have to go back to 10 out. They stay on the blind side here, the Dragons. The kick through pops up for them. 6 again. Will it be 6 again? Or it's a 5th and last and handover. The referee has called that the Raiders have not played at that deflection. And it's going to be a turnover and Raiders ball. Oh, that's clearly played at. Oh, that is clearly played at. What a horrible call from the referee there. The Raiders player has stuck his leg out. He was doing the splits. If he was doing any more of a splits, it would be confused with a gymnastics routine. He's clearly played at that ball. And that is a terrible decision against the Dragons here. Oh, lucky to get away with this here, the Raiders. That is an unbelievable call. Oh, jeez. I actually feel bad for the Dragons there on that call. That's how terrible it was. For me to feel bad for the Dragons, you know it was a bad, bad call. Because I usually don't care at all for them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. A try. Temako. A second try. That's not what we need. We need the Raiders to spread it around a little bit. That was a bit of a bum call against the Dragons, I'm not going to lie. Anyways, MMB says, what position would Cleary excel in if he was in Union? Surely not 10. Surely not 10. He would absolutely be a 10. Or a 12. Shack of Hearts is right there. A 10 or a 12. Maybe starting at... Maybe he would follow exactly the same route as Dan Carter followed. Dan Carter started at 12 for the All Blacks. Moved into 10. But yeah, in my mind, absolutely a 10. Yep, Shack of Hearts, I'm with you. He can't just go straight in at 10 because we're talking about a convert. You don't want a rugby league convert who's never played union before. There is absolutely no chance that he comes straight across and plays 10 to can control a game. But 10 is definitely the end game for him. Follow the Dan Carter route. Put him at 12 outside. Imagine Nathan Cleary playing 12 outside Richie Mo'unga. And then Richie Mo'unga teaches him everything he needs to learn. Moves on. And then you've got Nathan Cleary. Well, not that Nathan Cleary would ever play 10 for the All Blacks, but I'm just saying. Imagine. There's actual YouTube footage. Because this was the thing that happened. Dan Carter and Nathan Cleary on the training paddock together going over kicking drills. It was a great video. Fantastic video. Oh, okay, there you go. Michelle says they just replayed the try celebration of the cricket by the Raiders on the cricket. There you go. Nelson Saga, ahoy mate, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream, buddy. So anyways, yeah, that's my thoughts on Nathan Cleary converting to rugby union. James says, remember Mr. Squiggle. Of course. Shack of Hearts says, it's funny you mention that, Dan, because Fergus Burke is going to take the reins at 10 for the Crusaders after playing 15. Now Mo'unga is heading for Japan. Hey, Shack of Hearts, I'll tell you who was a really underappreciated player, and a player who was, and I'm just curious. I'm curious to see if anybody else agrees with me on this statement. Think about, I don't know if anybody follows tennis or not, but I just think of tennis. Tennis is a sport that is often dominated by one or two players, right? And I just think of somebody like Andy Roddick. Andy Roddick would have had so many Grand Slams if he didn't come through the same era as Roger Federer. Andy Roddick was just very unfortunate being involved in that period of time as the greatest player to have ever played the sport. He would have had so many Grand Slams to his name if that weren't the case. Now, Shack of Hearts, this is where I'm going with that, and that comparison. Lima Sopawanga. In my opinion, Lima Sopawanga had the ability to be one of the greatest All Blacks 10s in history. One of. Not the. One of. But he just had the misfortune of being around at a time where the All Blacks were just stocked with 10s. He was sort of hitting his straps at the same time that Dan Carter was approaching the back end of his career. But then Aaron Cruden was around. Damian McKenzie was just starting to come through. Now, Damian McKenzie was not necessarily a 10. He was a fullback. but he was a fullback who was capable of filling in at 10. So there was Carter, there was Cruden. Mackenzie was starting to break through. So no matter what level, whether it was club level, whether it was province level, whether it was Super Rugby level, whether it was All Blacks level, Lima Sopawanga, he had quite a few games. And he still made a name for himself. But I just look at a player like that and go, that poor son of a bitch was so much better than what we will remember him as because of everybody else that was around him at the same time. MMB says Benji Marshall tried playing 10 in Union and it was a disaster. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. You know what else was a disaster? Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in rugby union. Oh, Jesus Christ, I forgot about Beauden Barrett. How could I forget about Beauden Barrett? But you're right, Shack of Hearts. Beauden Barrett's in there as well. Oh, there's still 28 minutes left in this game, which is good because we need Hudson Young and we need Jack Whiten. I don't think either of them are going to have... I actually think Hudson Young's off. So that's the first problem. Hudson Young is off, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if he's... I'm not Ricky Stewart, so I have no idea if Hudson Young's going to be back on at any point. But I think Hudson Young may be off at the moment. I'm not sure. But yeah, this game's been terrible. Why is it, honestly, why is it that bloody... Okay, look, last night I wasn't able to stream anyway. I was busy with work. So I wasn't able to do it. But why is it that the games that I stream are terrible and the games that I either miss by choice or by work turn out to be actually okay? Like last night's game was okay for 50 or 60 minutes. The Sharks ended up winning quite comfortably in the end, but it was on there for a while. It was more exciting than this drizzle. And this is the game that I've streamed. We call it Murphy's Law. Yes. Yes. Murphy's Law. Shack of Hearts says Lima Sopawanga played for the Highlanders, right? Shack of Hearts. Sopawanga was the fly half for the Highlanders. Left to play in the UK in 2019. And after his mandatory stand-down period, after committing to Samoa, he will line up for Manu Samoa in 2023 in the Pacific Nations Cup and the Rugby World Cup. That's awesome. Okay. So Sopawanga has... Yeah, that's cool. That's actually great. That is fantastic. Yeah. So Sopawanga... And that's what I love about the laws in rugby. A player like Sopawanga, who has represented the All Blacks, is now able to... He's now able to represent Raiders are winning, says Fortnite with Braden. Thank you, Fortnite with Braden. We hadn't realised that. Thank you for coming into the chat room and showering us with that knowledge that the Raiders are winning. How are you doing anyways? What happened to... Didn't you change your name to NRL with Braden? You back to Fortnite, are you, mate? He's gone back to his Fortnite. I'm gathering that decision happened at halftime in this game. I reckon it was, at halftime in this game, Braden was like, wow, NRL is terrible. I'm going back to Fortnite. MMB says, who remembers Garrick Morgan? He was a beast in Union. How did he go in the league? I can't answer that question, I'm afraid, MMP. I know the name. The name Garrick Morgan strikes me as very familiar. Oh, Hudson Young is still on the field. Look at that. He got tackled 10 out. Fifth and last here of Raiders. That's a terrible kick from Wolford. It's gone about 50 metres over the dead ball line, and it's a 7-tackle set. I actually think Shack of Hearts, it probably should be less than 3 years. I mean, I appreciate, especially Pacific Island nations. Pacific Island nations have a close connection with New Zealand. It's that simple. They could almost essentially play for anyone, and a lot of them are. A lot of them have. I mean, you understand what I'm trying to say. You understand what I am saying. They've got connections with potentially multiple countries through family ties or whatnot. So, I mean, you look at me and go, look at me and, okay, so I'm born and raised in Australia, right? But I have direct family connections to New Zealand and Ireland. So who is to say, oh, here's a chance for the Dragons. It's out to Lomax. Draw and pass, and Ravalawa will get a double. Ravalawa's got a double. If we didn't get him ticked off in the first half, we've definitely got him ticked off now. Yeah, so Shack of Hearts, back to what we were talking about. So I look at myself and go, all right, born and raised in Australia, family ties through New Zealand and Ireland. I have spending time with I spent a lot of time with my grandmother growing up when I was little, and so my grandmother, being French Polynesian, was a big supporter of all the New Zealand teams. I spent a lot of time with her, so I started to support the All Blacks in rugby union. People always thought, you don't go for the Wallabies, but you live here. You were born here. You were raised here. It's like, yes, but I spent a majority of my childhood with the Kiwi side of my family, so I developed, naturally, a love for the All Blacks. In those situations, it's like, okay, I can understand, because me, growing up, like, if I had have pursued a professional rugby career, it would have felt weird for me being forced into representing Australia. I probably would have done it, because I'll be honest, I wasn't good enough to make the All Blacks, and I'm pretty sure of that. I mean, I don't know. Both my knees got blown out, and I'll never know what I might have become, apart from some fat drunk bastard who calls games on YouTube. Jack Black is my doppelganger. Who knows what I might have become? But I know that it would have been really weird for me to have grown up supporting the All Blacks, and now I play for the Wallabies. Like, so, I don't know. I don't even know the point that I'm trying to make anymore. It's like, there's... I guess what I'm saying is 3 years seems pretty stiff. So a person like Lima Sopawanga, I guess. Sopawanga, who made it to the All Blacks. He was on the outer edges of the All Blacks. If the All Blacks don't want him, it shouldn't take 3 years for him to also be able to play for Samoa, where he has a close connection with. I guess that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be 3 years. 3 years seems rough. If the All Blacks don't want him, he should be free to play for another nation that he is connected to. And that's what rugby league does perfectly, that rugby union does not. And I think I got that backwards when I tried to talk about it earlier. I think I said that's what rugby union does right. What I meant was that's what rugby league does right. If you represent a Tier 2 nation, you are still eligible to represent a Tier 1 nation. And I think that's the way it should be. If the Tier 1 nation doesn't want you, you should be allowed to represent a Tier 2 nation. Yeah, I think I got a little bit confused in amongst my description of all that, but I think we got there in the end. 30 points to 16 here, though. Jesus H. Christ, there's still 20 minutes to go in this goddamn game. There is still a full quarter left of this game. Unbelievable. The Dragons are suddenly on top, momentum-wise. They're obviously not on top on the scoreboard, but every time I've looked up, the Dragons have got the ball. And now they've created space. Lomax brings Ravalawa back on the inside. Ravalawa is shut down, but it's tackle 2. The Dragons, 10 out from the line. Another try here would make it very interesting indeed. Oh, they've got big numbers to the left. But the Raiders slide across and shut it down. Tackle 3. Referee blows his whistle. What for? Sullivan takes it to the line on his own. I know who Eddie Bravo is, UFC only fans. I'm a big fan of the Joe Rogan podcast. Fifth and last. To the right they go. Amone puts the kick up. Oh, is that Zach Lomax? Lomax is up. Lomax has got a double. Oh, the Dragons, they're back. This game has suddenly sprung to life. 30 points to 20, kick to come. Ravalawa with a double. Lomax with a double. It's suddenly game on. There's still 18 and a half minutes to go. Lomax over the top of Croker. Not for the first time tonight. Oh, Jared Croker needs to take a good, long, hard look at his life tonight. That is not the first time that Lomax has got over the top of him. Hamish McKenzie, the guardian of the couch. How are you there, mate? $30 points to 20, the kick to come. What did we end up falling on for Zach Lomax, his kicking percentage for the end of the night? Did we have any predictions? Tonight he's 2 from 3. He could potentially be 50% at the end of this kick. Oh, I can't. Oh, Lomax just gets it inside the near upright. Conversion successful. $30 points to 22. Game on. 17 minutes to go. James says, if Dan thinks NASA is run by Nazis and the Earth is flat, then he is your doppelganger. I've never got on board with the flat Earth thing. Anyone who knows me or has been part of the streams towards the end when I'm drunk enough to talk about conspiracy theories knows that I love a good conspiracy theory. But good Lord, I just cannot get on board with the flat Earth. It makes no sense to me, that one. As with everything, I'm open to it. Oh, and they've created space again here, the Dragons. Ravalawa's away. Inside pass, and it's another try for the Dragons. Ravalawa will get a hat-trick. What is happening here? Ravalawa gets a third try. We had completely switched off of this game. We were talking about everything but this game. And suddenly, the Dragons, 3 tries in 6 minutes. And it is game on here at Wynn Stadium. Slightly forward pass there from Ravalawa, but it's okay. It's all right. Ravalawa's pass here is about 40 meters forward. But, hey, Heel Fries says the Faders are back. Quite possibly 15 and a half minutes to go. They had this game comfortably in hand. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable scenes here. I'll be right back.
Sullivan kicking off. So they've already lost, remember, the fullback Turner. That might be a hamstring the way he was clutching there back of the right leg. That's unfortunate. We put it down to a moment. They're inside backs and Lomax.
Oh, from the sideline, Zach Lomax hooks it way too far to the left. By the way, MMB, my name's Dan. Chuggy is our bot. Chuggy's our chat bot that is quite conspicuously absent tonight. I can't help but notice that Chuggy hasn't been around tonight. But yes, please, MMB. Dan, nice to meet you. Chuggy is the bot in the chat room, not actually my name. Understandable mistake, though. The Dragons, 57 minutes, 62 minutes, and 64 minutes. They've scored the last 3 tries to actually make a game of this. So maybe we should start concentrating. We can talk all about conspiracy theories after the game. Vopsy says Chuggy, I'm assuming. Chuggy's on vacation. He is in Thailand visiting all of the kind women. Ah, yes. And especially those women that turn out to be men. We've all been there before. Luckily for me, well, actually, I don't think this one was Thai. No, she, he, it didn't look Thai. He looked more Japanese actually, but luckily there was an encounter in the bathroom. That have I told that story? I might need to tell this story. There are some people who are now wondering what the hell I'm talking about that probably have no idea what that story is. But anyway, 5th and last here for the Raiders. Oh, Fogarty puts the kick in. They've let it bounce again. The Dragons, this time, they get away with it. 13 minutes to go. Suddenly, 4 points the difference. The Dragons with all the momentum. They are making meters at will. This is totally turned around. Michael Mano, ahoy there. Interesting game. It's turned into one. It has not been an interesting game for the longest time, but the Dragons, in the space of the last 6 minutes, for 60 minutes of this contest, it's been one-way traffic, but the Dragons just went boom, boom, boom. And suddenly, they're 4 points behind with 12.5 to go. 5th and last, the high ball. It's going to fall 10 out from the Raiders line, and it's taken. Rapana. Oh, has he lost the ball, Rapana? No, he hasn't. I'll calm down. Oh, wow. Samuel Matthews says game is not over. Dragons are chasing. Dragons, not only are they chasing, they're in striking distance. Just 4 points behind. 12 minutes to go. Hudson Young is told to go back and play the ball properly. On the mark. And it's very flat football here for the Raiders. They're going nowhere. Fast. Stuck on the treadmill. Tackle 4. Back to Fogarty. He's going to put the kick in. Taken on the fall. Ravalawa. Where is he? He's got 3. He wants another one. Time is not the issue now. Indeed, Shack of Hearts. Time is not the issue. It will be, can they keep up this level of skill and enthusiasm? Third tackle, they're up over halfway. Oh, they're pumping those legs here, the Dragons. Tackle 4. 40 out from the Raiders line. Molo goes forward, nearly gets the arms free. 5th and last, 30 out midfield. They go to the left and by. Crossfield kick back towards the right-hand edge. And Croker, oh, it's no shock that they're targeting Croker. He made a complete mess of the last one that he had. The Raiders, 10.5 to go. They're not really offering anything here. Hudson Young trying to get some go forward. But the Dragons have just gone up a gear. A gear that we didn't know they had, to be honest. And to be totally fair. 5th and last, the Raiders only 24 metres gain. And now is this a 40-20? Fogarty. A metre short of the 40-20. Oh, that's painful. Oh, we thought we had a 40-20. Jamal Fogarty. What a turnaround that would have been inside the last 10 minutes, but it's a metre short. That would have been huge for the Raiders. Just a metre short of a 40-20. And that has kept this game alive. The last time we looked up at the scoreboard, it was 24 points to 6. Or thereabouts. Suddenly they're in striking distance. Molo gets the offload. Here goes the Dragons. Jacob Little. Oh, he's lost the ball. Pops forward on tackle 3. And now the Raiders bring it back. Return it with interest. Temako up towards halfway. He's trying to get up and play it quickly. 0 tackle. We are a Jack Whiten and Hudson Young try away from the multi. It's looking really unlikely now. Boy, this game turned around horribly for my multi, didn't it? Raiders on the attack now, though. Blind side they go. Chris steps in field. Still going. Sebastian Chris will score what will be the match winner. And that breaks Dragons' hearts. That was a little bit too easy. After the fight back that the Dragons have shown, that was just way too simple. The Dragons, they did all the hard work to get themselves back into this game, and this is just lazy on defense. Murdoch Masila again, not for the first time tonight. I have called out Murdoch Masila for lazy defending. He's done it again. Just grabbing at the shoulders rather than trying to make a hit. Murdoch Masila, and over he goes. Sebastian Chris, easy, too easy. And that puts some breathing space once again for the Raiders. 34 points to 26, kick to come. My multi's done. There is no way that Hudson Young and Jack Whiten score in the next 7.5 minutes. Not happening. One of them, maybe, but not 2 of them. But it's all right. It was a rushed bonus bet multi. We really didn't think it through at all, did we? Very little thought went into it. UFC only fams, how many alcoholic standard drinks do you consume per week? Christ, I don't know. I don't keep count. Only an amateur keeps count. Well, there's 19 standard drinks. There's 19 standard drinks in a 700ml bottle of Captain Morgan's. A 700ml bottle of Captain Morgan's is pretty much only going to get me through one game. So we could probably hazard a guess that over the course of a weekend, at least 57 standard drinks. If I do all the games, which we know I don't. Michael Mano says, listening to you all the way from Papua New Guinea. Shout out to my dad, Nicky Billy, who is also listening to you. Thank you, and go the Raiders. Well, thank you, Michael Mano and Nicky Billy. I appreciate you jumping on and checking out the Wasted World of Sports. Trust me, I usually call the game a little bit more than this. It's just that for a long portion of this game, it was terrible. And because I don't work for the NRL or Channel 9 or anybody who pays me to act interested when it's not interesting, I'm not interested. So I do apologize. Usually, I call the game a lot more than I have tonight. It has, for large parts, just been terrible, though. Let's face it. And it's not my job to say otherwise. But I appreciate your company. PNG, as I always say, a very big rugby league loving country. Dragons keep the ball alive here, though. There's space out to the left. Oh, they just needed to get the ball out there. It's 5.5 minutes. It's if they score a try here, they're 20 out from the line now. Stretching it right. Lomax steps back in field. beats Whiten, puts the kick in. Rapana's made a mess of it, but Croker dives back on it. It's knocked on by Rapana, surely. Yes, it is. It's called a knock on by Rapana. 5 minutes to go. Dragons will get the scrum feed. 10 out in midfield, right in front of the post. Lomax has been hit high there too. I can't help but notice in back play there in that replay, Zach Lomax, there was shoulder contact to his face. And the Raiders have got away with that one. 4 minutes 52 to go. Dragons scrum. 10 out in front of the posts. To the left they go. Oh, it's a terrible pass from the base of the scrum. And Lomax has to kind of jump to catch it and surrenders in the tackle. Two meters out from the line. Dragons staying on the left-hand edge. Lomax inside ball to Sully. Oh, the crash ball nearly works out for them. Here they go. Dragons short ball. Molo can't get through. Francis Molo, that is, because there's a couple of Molos. Francis and Michael. They stay on the right. Oh, that's a huge cutout pass. Ravalawa looking for another try. Is now taken over the sideline in a three-man Raiders tackle. Three-man tackle driving Ravalawa over the sideline. Oh, that huge cutout pass from Sullivan was probably not the right call in hindsight. They were always going to slide across and cover that off, but Ravalawa, he's a big unit. You would expect him to make more of a fight out of that. UFC Only Fam says, far out, that is wild. A 700ml Bundy gets me 3 to 4 days. How does that not break your bankroll? They're only $62. Captain Morgan's. Yeah, they're only $62 each. Raiders looking likely now. They should be safe. 3 minutes to go. 10 points the difference. Mamolti's shot to pieces again. So this is it. The Dragons, if they're going to make any sort of game of this, they have to score off this set. Tackle 3, they're up over halfway. Oh, the Dragons, they're going to put themselves close enough for a strike. If they're good enough, they will be in range at the end of this set. Tackle 4, 30 out. Here they go to the left. Dummies and goes on his own. Billy Burns, 5th and last. They're 20 out. Here they go. Oh, where's the kicker? It's gone through 2 hands before it's finally found. Amone, it falls for the Dragons. It's still the 5th and last, and it's going to be a handover, a meter out from the Raiders line. Oh, 5th and last tackle. And they're I don't know what they're challenging here, the Dragons, but I suppose they may as well. But the Dragons, geez, it's their own fault. They're the Dragons. 5th and last, attacking range. 2 passes from dummy half before it finally found the 5/8. That's unacceptable. A 5th and last play in attacking range, and they had to go through 2 sets of hands to find one of the playmakers. That is unacceptable. They've done a captain's challenge. I really don't know why they've done a captain's challenge other than the fact that they may as well, because there's 2 minutes to go in the game and they need the ball back. So they're just hoping for something here, the Dragons. And they might get it too. Rapana. Jordan Rapana has played at this. They're going to get a result here, the Dragons. Rapana has knocked this on. It should have been 6 again. Well, it doesn't matter if it's a knock on or knock backwards because the Dragons have got the ball back. It's been played out. It will be 6 again. Dragons ball. It doesn't matter what direction it went. And this is going to work out here for the Dragons. Oh, yeah. It does make a difference because it'll either be tackle 0 or tackle 1. One minute 54 to go. The Dragons, they're just keeping this a little bit interesting, aren't they? They just settle things here in front of the post. Blake Laurie, tackle 1, 5 out. Midfield, in front of the post, they go left. Mbai sends it out now. A couple of passes out to Molo. They stay on the blind side. Crash ball. And Murdoch-Masila is pushed backwards in the tackle. Oh, he's hurt his knee. He's hurt his knee, big Murdoch-Masila. He's not happy. He's not happy here. He's totally busted that left knee. His right knee is all taped up, and now he's hurt his left knee. Oh, he can't win a trick here, Big Murdoch. Dragons now, a minute 22 to go. 10 points the difference. The fourth tackle. They're 10 out, midfield. Shape to the right. Amone to Lomax. Lomax tries to flick pass, and it's been knocked on again by Rapana. A penalty for offside, but there's only a minute to go here, the Dragons. The Raiders, they're holding on. They don't need to they don't care. They don't need to do anything. They can give away penalties. They can give away set restarts. Time is against the Dragons here. 10 points the difference. Molo in midfield. 2 meters out from the line. In front of the posts. They go left. Oh, the kick through. Oh, the kick through from Amone. And it's tapped dead by the Dragons. I mean the Raiders, sorry. Oh, Amone. Probably not the right call there. Benefit of hindsight and everything, but even at the time, they needed something, I know, but he was the only one who knew that kick was coming. There's 6 seconds to go. 10 seconds on the dropout clock. The Raiders don't even need to restart this game. And there is the siren. There was a 4-second discrepancy there. The dropout clock and the actual time. And the Raiders can just run that down. Ricky Stewart surely won't be happy with that. He'll be happy to take the win. Happy to take the 2 points. But the Raiders against the Wooden Spoon Dragons, this was far from an impressive effort, it must be said. Crazy, crazy stuff. Oh, Gamer Mel, are you going? We've got a big post-game chat to come. That's all right, Gamer Mel. I know that you've been very tired this whole game. You've done well to actually still be around, I suppose, to be fair. But the interesting stuff's about to happen. All right. I'll be right back, and then we can talk about everything but this game and the post-game. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm excited. I'm excited for all the talk coming up here in the full-time. Yeah, it's not a half-time talk, is it? The full-time talk that we've got coming up. Oh, it's gonna be cool. If I can figure this out. Actually, I shouldn't even play music. I should actually play Fletch, shouldn't I?
G'day, Vobsy. Well, ahoy, Vobsy. This is a message from myself, Fletch, and the Wasted World of Sports. Just to let you know, mate, you've won back-to-back VIP titles, another $100 gift card. You got to go collect your first one, actually. So $200. Anyway, mate, well done. Congratulations. And ahoy, the Vobsy. See you, brother.
I've got to get maximum use out of those videos, right? Why not? Why not get maximum use out of them? All right. So there we go. 36 points to 26. Oh, flash yellow. Ahoy there, mate. I was wondering how you'd be feeling. Little bit of squeaky bum time there towards the back end of the game, Flash. Little bit of brown alert time. But the Raiders, they did enough to hold on and see off the threat. 36 points to 26. Raiders, Ricky's Green Goblins continue to shake up the NRL ladder, keeping themselves well entrenched inside that top 8. I reckon they'll be fighting for the top 4 by the end of the season. For sure. They've got a good enough draw coming up. Like I said, and like I've been saying for the past 5 or 6 weeks, the Raiders could be a dark horse. Good trade opportunity, at least. If anyone's into sports trading, Betfair and whatnot, the Raiders right about now, I reckon, prime for a good trade. So my multi fell short by Jack Whiten and Hudson Young. James says, I reckon it would have been 70% Raiders, 30% Dragons in the tipping comp. You reckon it would have been that high? That many people would have gone Dragons? I kind of find that hard to believe. Let's have a look. Well, it's not our tipping comp exclusive, I suppose. When you look at the tips. Yeah, there's a lot of Raiders there. A lot of Raider. Yeah, it's actually not our tipping contest exclusive, but I can tell you that overall, so this is the entire NRL.com, so everybody's tipping contest, not ours, everybody's. And everybody is 273,920 people. No, I appreciate that, James. I appreciate that you're talking about our tipping contest. But what I'm saying is I can tell you the exact percentage overall. Irrelevant to our tipping contest, I know. But I still think it's interesting. Out of 273,920 people, 273,920 people that are in the NRL tipping contest, in any NRL tipping contest, 95% went for the Raiders. 95% of 273,920 people went for the Raiders. Absolutely, James. I'll drink to that. Absolutely. Our comp is the only one that matters. But still, I can't put an actual percentage on just our comp. I'm just saying, overall, it was very easy for me to get that number. Because they provide it right there. But that's crazy, hey. 95% of 273,920 people went for the Raiders. That's a lot of people. So I think I tipped the Raiders by 8, by the way. I went Raiders by 8. And I thought I was being conservative. It turns out I was almost on the money. All right. Conspiracy theories. Shack of Heart says, say that again, Dan. I didn't catch that. I said I had the... Which part? Which part? 95%. Okay, I'll do it all just in case, just to make sure we cover it. I said that 95% of the 273,920 people involved in the NRL.com tipping picked the Raiders. 95%. I tipped the Raiders by 8. And I thought I was being conservative, and it turns out that I was almost right on the money. So there you go. And then I said, so, conspiracy theories. One of my... It's not really a conspiracy theory, but it is something that really got you thinking. I don't know if there's any Red Dwarf fans in the chat room. Red Dwarf, Season 7, did a JFK episode. And part of the episode was the Red Dwarf crew going back in time and making such a mess of things that to make it right, they had to go back in time and get JFK essentially to assassinate himself. So they time warp. Basically, the Red Dwarf crew in season 7. I'm pretty sure it was season 7. In season 7, the Red Dwarf crew time jumped. They came back in time to the Texas Book Repository, knocked the gunman out of the window. So JFK wasn't actually assassinated. It was an attempted assassination. And then all of JFK's ill dealings came out. And rather than JFK being assassinated as a hero, he lived long enough to become a villain, I suppose was the the point of the show. And so, they actually went back in time. As much as they tried to fix things, they kept making it worse. So they ended up going back in time and convincing JFK to assassinate himself. And JFK himself was the gunman behind the grassy knoll. Because you know that's a conspiracy theory. There was a gunman behind the grassy knoll. All the conspiracy theories about the trajectory of bullets and whatnot. And yeah, if anybody, even if you don't care about Red Dwarf as a show, I urge everybody, if you're interested in the theory behind the JFK assassination, to check out that one particular episode. And it would be, I'll try and find it for you. Red Dwarf. Red Dwarf JFK episode. Ticket to Ride, Season 7, Episode 1. There you go, I was right. It was Season 7, and it was the first episode of Season 7. So yeah, if you're into that whole JFK conspiracy, Season 7, Episode 1 of Red Dwarf, highly recommended. It is a really unique take on the whole thing. The gunman behind the grassy knoll was JFK himself, which, you know, he's come back in time from the future a future where he was arrested and portrayed as a villain. He's come back in time to assassinate himself from behind the grassy knoll to save his reputation. Quite an interesting take on the whole thing. So yes, obviously there is one of the big conspiracy theories is that Michelle Obama is actually a man. I wouldn't be surprised, let's be honest. I mean, I know that this is a horrible thing to say, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, that one wouldn't shock me. Flat Earth, I can't get behind. See, here's the thing. For me, when it comes to conspiracy theories, it has to make some sort of well, not necessarily sense. I mean, there has to be a reason behind it, I suppose. And I know that a big part of the reason behind the Flat Earth conspiracy, the more that I've dug into it, a big part of it is, the reason is they've lied to us about it being a globe so that we stop exploring. Because apparently there's supposedly like untapped resources outside the ice wall that surrounds us on the flat Earth. This wall of ice that goes all the way around. So apparently there's like more land and more resources out there, and that's what they're trying to keep quiet. I don't know. That just doesn't resonate with me. I can't really understand the reasoning behind that. 9/11 was an inside job. Yeah, okay. I'm completely on board with that because America needed a reason to go into Afghanistan and these countries and take the oil. That makes sense to me. How are we going to get into Afghanistan and take control of the oil? Okay, well, we need to do a false flag terrorist attack and blame it on them. That makes sense to me. See that? I'm not saying that it is true. I'm saying it's believable. It's possible. It's plausible. It's more than plausible. I'm not saying that is what happened. I'm saying it's very, very plausible that that's the case. That 9/11 could very well have been an inside job because that makes sense to me. Faking the moon landing. Once again, I'm not saying I believe it, but it makes sense because they were in a space race with the Russians. Yeah? It was America versus Russia. Who's going to get to space first? Oh, Jesus, they're beating us. Oh, well, we'll fake it. So, yeah, I mean, if there's some sort of plausibility behind the reasoning of it, I'm much more inclined to actually believe it. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying that is what happened, but if it makes sense. Vobsy says, if Earth is flat, I'm James Bond. Well, that's plausible. I think I've seen nothing to suggest that Vobsy couldn't be James Bond. Apart from James Bond not being a real person, of course. But who's to say James Bond's not a real person? But anyway, Ticket to Ride, I highly suggest that the JFK episode of Red Dwarf. It is a good one. Vopsy says, as someone who visits the moon every week, I have never seen America there. Aliens. What about aliens? Do we believe in aliens? I kind of think that I mean, we haven't even explored. We are still finding species of fish and stuff from deep down in the ocean. Deep down in the ocean. We're still finding species of fish. I think if we are still finding species on our own planet, then surely there would be other life forms in the galaxy somewhere. Would they be wasting their time visiting us? Who knows? Who knows? Is this life just one giant simulation? Are we in our very own game of The Sims? I mean, imagine the inception that would bring. Since there is a video game of The Sims where you get to control the lives of artificial intelligent people. Talk about inception. Us living in our artificially simulated life with video games like The Sims. Crazy. Crazy stuff. Should I click on the link? What's on the link? I'm just wondering if I should click on it. I feel like this is all as far from the wasted world of sports as you could possibly get.
If you were
The hell is this?
command that this stone becomes bread.
Satan Obama lookalike. Oh, wait. So there was this character of... Hang on. Was there this character of Satan in a Bible movie and it looked like Obama? So they're like, we better not play this. Oh, wow. Well, interestingly enough, there was talk amongst the Christian community for a long time there that Obama was the Antichrist. Does anyone remember that? There was big talk out of the Christian community when Obama got voted in. It's like, oh, he's the Antichrist. And I was always thinking to myself, why? He seems like a nice enough bloke. But that's exactly what it says. That's what it says in the Bible. He's going to be a very lovable person. Anyways. Yeah, Satan Obama lookalike nixed from movie. Oh, don't get me started on creepy Uncle Joe. Creepy Uncle Joe. Or that bloody pedophile from Family Guy. But anyway. Bobsy says, I reckon he sleeps in his office on a blow-up mattress.
That's the challenge of our coach, and that's why it's such a big decision to go in and fight with our coaches. It's the reason why Bellamy's been able to do those things because the players go over. Keeps the system in place that keeps turning players over. So that's the challenge for a coach. You can't sit here and go, well, don't tell me I'm just going to find a way to get up the score. It's not just the coach, though. We need to both wonderful examples. You make those around you better players. That's the responsibility of the senior players, of the leaders, of the thinkers of the team. And you both did that excellently, but we're just not seeing that flow of affection necessarily unfold for the Dragons, which is such a shame because that jersey is one of the most famous jerseys that we have in the great game of rugby league. So they are a regional league fans, but hopefully it is on the way up. These sad days that are going through at the moment will be a distant memory, hopefully. All right, let's head back to Wynn Stadium. Ricky Stewart is on the menu line.
Finished much closer than it looked like being stages. How do you assess that in over 80 minutes?
We've got the press conferences on, by the way, if anyone's interested. The press conferences are on in the NRL. Ricky's up. All right. Here's what I'm thinking. In all honesty, I'm thinking end the stream. I'm going to take the post game because we don't normally do this. I used to do this all the time. I used to do this all the time in the Intoxi Gamer days. Now I'm the Wasted World of Sports. I haven't really ever done it before. I'm going to now take the stream offline over to Discord because then I can do other stuff as well, like eat, because I'm getting hungry. So that sounds like what I might do. 36 points to 26 here. The Raiders have got the job done just against the Dragons. Coming up over the course of the weekend, the Rugby Championship is kicking off. Springboks versus the Wallabies. Argies versus the All Blacks. And then, of course, next Wednesday, July the 12th, Dan Entox and Crowley from the Brew and Crowley Show covering Game 3 of the State of Origin. Dead rubber it may be, but still, we have to get our drink on. It will still be party times, dead rubber or not. All right, if you've got Discord, I'll see you over there. Maybe. I don't know. It's up to you guys. If you want to keep the party going over on Discord, more than happy to do that. But I think, yeah, we're starting to talk about some stuff now that I have been struck from YouTube before for talking about. So I don't want to get into too much. Got to keep it on the down low. So I reckon move it over to Discord and, yeah, we'll party on over there momentarily. All right. Thank you so much. Wasted World of Sports. 36-26 Raiders getting the win here. I will catch you guys when I catch you next. What's happening tomorrow? Who's on tomorrow? Anyways, I'll see. No. It's not your fault, James. It's not a problem at all. You guys in the chat room can say pretty much whatever you want. I'm just saying that I have had streams cut before from YouTube because I've said too much. You know, you've got to be careful in the way that you say it because there's all these automatic things. Just the same way that there's automatic things that pick up copyrighted music and video and such. There are flags that can get raised and... yeah, 9/11 is a big one. I've got to be very careful what I say about that. yeah, I've had streams cut off before for talking too much about that, and I kind of say that like that's when you know that you've said a fact. You know that you've said something that's a fact that they don't want to get out there, because as soon as you say it, you're done. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm treading on dangerous territory here, but feel free. Anyways, Discord, we'll sort it out once we're over there. And if you're over there, feel free to join in. Yeah, just the normal chat, James, I'm thinking. The general chat. We'll jump over there. I'm going to grab a quick bite to eat, and then I'll come and join you over there on Discord for post-stream chats. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow, whether it be for the NRL or for the Rugby Championship, which is kicking off. Until then, cheers.